private jets. Well, actually, she wants to learn to fly, but she's got bad visual,
Well, part of it is when they say private jets, it could be a little private jet or a big private jet.
Private jets are all sorts of sizes. A private jet can also be something that a person put together from a kit.
Oh, it can be?
Yeah.
How big is...
A private jet, okay, let's
This
put it
makes
this
it a
way.
little
If
bit
it is
warmer.
not owned
So I'm in this.
by somebody else, then it's a private jet.
What?
That's how they describe it.
Say that again?
If it is not owned by someone else, it is a private jet.
Oh, you mean like American Airlines owns it?
Yeah, it's like American Airlines or the government or something, but...
Well, here's the part is, I mean, a lot of the car executives
yeah.
and, City Corp, I mean, they're all getting flack because they're using private jets or...
At the same time, our great Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is pissed off because they wouldn't give her let her use a military plane for the holidays.
Well, okay, first of all, let's backtrack because Nancy Pelosi, because she's third in command after the president and vice president, she is entitled.
No, she's not.
Isn't she?
No. No one's entitled to a private jet except the President of the United States. The other things, okay, the United States government has a fleet of planes that are available for use at the discretion of the President of the United States. That's where,
Well, wait a
you might
minute,
send
so,
an executive, you might send a vice president here, you might send a Secretary of State on those things.
So then why is she even in the jet?
Because she gets pissed off. Those are the planes that she's turning over to her for her private use, I mean, if she was doing a function for the United States government, I'm certain that the government would supply her with the plane to go to some function.
But okay, wait a minute, didn't Daschle get in trouble because he was using a car and a driver
Yeah.
for his personal use and didn't pay taxes on it?
Didn't pay taxes, okay. If you can borrow, Nancy Pelosi can borrow one of the fleet of planes that the government has if she pays for its use. But see, she wants it to be a freebie. So there's the problem.
Is that why it's in the news?
That's right. And if the President of the United States...
Or because they're trying to cut back military spending.
If Air Force One is used for campaign purposes, they have to pay for the use of the plane.
Which it's got to be really expensive.
It's astronomical, which is why they don't do it.
It's cost prohibitive.
But when they're... I can tell you, though, well, what was that? Was it SEMA? I think it was, when they were talking. Or was it CES? The car people were CES, and one of the executives was telling me about being miffed about it. He said, there is a reason why our executives fly in private planes.
Well, and here's a reason I had never thought about.
Yeah, he told me that reason. He said there was a liability issue.
You go, what liability?
He said that the executives of major international companies are subject to threats to kidnapping and all of this.
Always.
And if they fly on a commercial airline, they then make everybody on that plane subject to what people have threatened to do to them. And therefore it becomes, they put the people in danger by flying on commercial flights, which is why the president doesn't fly on a commercial flight.
Well, part of it is you don't want the president, I mean, because by the time he brings all his security and everybody else around, you don't want him that accessible.
But the trick is, the head of a multinational company is just as subjected to problems as is the president, because there are a lot of people out there that hold company executives responsible for all the problems in the world. I mean, kidnapping executives is a
Actually, they do it all the time, especially when they travel overseas. Huh?
That's right. And if you're flying commercial, like the guy said, he said that our insurance companies will not allow our president to fly on a commercial plane because of the liability problem.
Really?
That's right.
I didn't even thought. I thought it was more so that they could, make their time more efficient, that they could sit there and talk to each other.
Yeah, but see,
and
they
get
could.
company business done.
You can four-wall the front part, front part of a jet aircraft too. But you don't. To charter the entire plane is therefore then making it a private flight. See, that's the whole trick.
It's the same thing then.
So it's the same trick.
So,
it's got to do with the thought that they're so angry at people that they just simply don't understand that they're doing what they're told they have to do in order to protect other people.
Well, it's one of those things, it sounds so excessive, but at the same point, it's like after you told me that, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
If you're an insurance company, what would you rather pay? The insurance for an executive that has basically been kidnapped, or the insurance for 300 people that are going to bring charges against the insurance company for allowing them to be kidnapped.
That's true.
And then what about people that get injured because the executive, they tried to take the executive off a plane or something?
Or if the plane got shot down because the executive was on there.
That's right.
I mean, that's...
The liability, and it's
That's astronomical.
It's astronomical.
I mean,
And it's just the one insurance case, a guy, he told me one insurance case can cover the cost of flying a jet for an entire year for the executive. That's one insurance settlement. If you look at how big settlements are in these cases.
wow.
So they're basically giving up private jets, but they're not going anywhere, which basically is stymieing the business being done. They've restricted the business now, and as I understand from people in the Pentagon, the government is now flying these people back and forth.
What?
Which basically negates the purpose. Well, because they can't go from Detroit to Washington, D.C. in an automobile caravan like they did the last time to show off. They have to have them there to talk to them.
And if they can't take their private jet and they can't do the other,
So
then,
the feds send a plane for them.
which cuts into the military budget, which they're cutting.
I know. It's just a mess. I mean, there are reasons behind. Okay, to put it this way.
See, the other way, the executives did it on their own dime. Now the government's
they're doing it
paying
on the
for
government's dime. Isn't that great? If they fly, okay, if these executives go with the task force to Europe to talk to their people, they're flying on the government's money. Instead of the government task force flying on the corporate jet at the corporation's expense, they are now spending taxpayers' money now.
Well, they're kind of a government entity now. The government's put so much
Well, I
money
know.
into them. So,
but
it's not like...
they'll still be flying on private jets very soon. The Chrysler and the GM people, but they're going to be paid for by the government now instead of the automobile companies paying for them out of their budgets. And it is out of their budgets. The budget is set aside for that specific purpose. It is not something. Well, I think I'm going to go fly to Hawaii this weekend. You can't write that into a budget.
Oh, that's right, you can't.
That's right. The money is there for business. It is not for flying off and having a wild party in Tahiti.
Well, is that why Pelosi's getting... why they said no to Pelosi?
Because she just wanted to have it for her family for the holidays, I think.
Well, it is Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. Or is it because they thought Congress might be in session late? But that's planning ahead.
No, but the Congress, okay, basically, they're not getting anything done. So basically, they're only working 4 days a week at the most. I think 3 days because they come in on Monday, leave on Thursday evening, so it's 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Then they can go work with their constituents.
They go home to have a good time, so. But no, but...
well, no. So there are reasons behind private jets, and
yeah,
I mean...
there are reasons behind...
It's like, as a public, you get angered about it, but if you understand the meaning and why they have to do it, it's,
Yeah, but there is a purpose.
It sounds like a waste, but there is a purpose.
It is a public safety and insurance problem. So.
And it's not the convenience. I mean, it sounds like it's convenience, but it's not. It's more the other, which is an overriding issue.
Yeah. But, you're going to hear more about this as you catch more people doing dumb things that they criticize other people doing. It's called...
but we'll share with you.
In my grandmother's world of the Irish, it's like calling a kettle black.
There's much more. But, it sure would be nice to have a private jet anyway. But I guess, it's the upkeep and the maintenance.
Who among us can fly a jet? Hey. So, just guess what? If somebody wants to give us a private jet... and pay for all of the fuel.
Yeah, right. What would they do that for?
I would not be adverse to flying somebody to Hawaii along with us.
Wait a minute. We could fly them to. Then they don't have to get a separate pilot.
That's right.
Oh, that would be a good reason.
I mean, I might even get a pilot's license. Okay, I was in the military.
He was in the military. So
you don't need licenses if you fly in the military.
But private jets.
I might actually go get one. I think I might have a hard time learning. Those landing things get you.
It's one of those industries that's probably not faring the best right now.
Yeah,
but it's not something that's going to go away.
I'll give you a hint of what. When my father learned to fly a plane right after World War II, my father said, I can fly it, but I don't know if I can land it. And the instructor told my father, said, don't worry, because the one thing you're going to do is you're going to come down. Sooner or later, you're going to come down. So, never worry about landing. You're going to come down. But until